About to win. We destroyed an enemy ship.
Hey, little surprise there. Hello everyone, it's DFA. Welcome back to the channel, and we're going to take a look at the last ship I would consider in this shipyard's rotation. Still time to buy it. It is the Tier 10 Premium American Destroyer, the Somers. Let's take a look at it in action. Very interesting ship. And here we have it in the stats sheet next to a selection of other Tier 10 destroyers. What do we have? Engine 1, 4 times, 3 times smoke 2, very good indeed. And you change the AA from the gearing into 2 times torp reload. That's actually fairly interesting. That's going to give you a ton of damage with your torpedoes. But yeah, don't get too excited because the survivability of that thing is very bad indeed. The worst hit points pool of Tier 10 destroyers. Even the Shimakaze has more hit points, and that's not really offset by your concealment, which is the best at Tier 10, but yeah, it's a very small hit points, to be honest. You have to be careful with your hit points with that thing. Luckily, you do have a pretty good speed, 37 knots, but with the engine 1, that does not really turn you into a flanker. The acceleration is also fairly average, but the traverse and turn time are very good. And then when we look at the guns, we get 8 127 gearing guns, but they don't reload in 3 seconds, they reload in 6 seconds. And so what that means, your DPM, it's significantly lower than almost anything you will meet, both HE and AP, except the Shimakaze, who's still the worst gunboat at Tier 10. So yeah, it's... unless you engage with the Shimakaze, you're going to lose every single gunfight you come across. If the enemy DD decides to smoke up, or you cannot smoke up, then yeah, you are pretty much done with. So you have to be careful when engaging with that thing. Where it redeems itself is in the torpedo departments, because you do get 12 torpedoes. Not the same as the gearing, they reload a little bit faster, they deal a little bit less damage, but when you're shooting so many of them and you get a torpedo reload, you do get a burst damage of 66,000 damage. 66,000 with the torpedo reload. Only the Shimakaze is doing better at 74,000, so what that concretely means is you will pretty much be able to, you won't delete every single battleship you meet, or you will not delete a Yamato, for example, but you will leave them with not a lot of HP, and usually enough to be finishing them up while in a smoke screen, and your DPM at 66,500 is the best of every single destroyer in the game. The range is also excellent at 10 kilometers. That's giving you almost 4 kilometers of stealth torpedo range. Very, very comfortable, and your torpedoes, they do, yeah, they're not super quick at 58 knots. If you manage to get the Remembrance Night camo, which was offered in the premium shop, then you can get it a little bit above 60, like something like 62, something like that. So that puts it on par with the gearing, but you kind of have to be careful when you are aiming your torpedoes with that thing, otherwise they will miss. And finally, the AA is non-existent. It is the worst at Tier 10. So interesting ship, right? And so to sum it up, we do have a destroyer which has a decent amount of mobility, but yeah, it's not really made for gunfights. You have 3 smoke charges to help you with that. So for example, you can engage French DDs fairly confidently, even the Italian DDs, because they are not able to smoke up for as long as you, but you kind of have to be careful with everything else. but you do make up for that with absolutely an insane amount of torpedoes, both in terms of reload, because yeah, it's almost the fastest torpedo reload at tier 10, so you're always shooting those 12 torpedoes and you get two torpedo reloads. So what you're going to do is you're going to engage very carefully. You kind of have to follow the big brother tactic when engaging with that DD. You have to make sure that you do have a ship behind you that's able to help if you engage in a 1 versus another DD. And here I'm checking that Colombo that's right behind me to make sure that he is actually aiming in my general direction, because yes, it did not take very long and I do meet the Haaland on the enemy team. So it does detect me with its radar. I have no idea where he is right now. 4 ships are targeting me. It is time to disappear, because yeah, you don't think twice with that thing. You use your smoke screen as soon as you are detected, because you really want to preserve your hit points as much as you can. Every single hit point will be needed with that thing. And so yeah, that Haaland, the radar went off. Now it's actually a sitting duck for me. And yeah, you will see what I meant when I meant to be followed by a big brother, because that Colombo is going to smack him in the face at some point. Yeah, there you go, just wait for it, boom. And so essentially that's how you get rid of the first screen that is between you and the enemy battleships, which will be your preferred targets, because your torpedo speed, it's not going to be super effective against cruiser. There you go, this one is gone. And we can actually go into the general direction of the enemy battleships. Oh, that's a Colombo, bow tank, wait until you disappear, because yeah, again, be extremely conservative with your hit points with that thing. And shit, okay, I'm dodging these ones, that's good. But yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about that Shimakaze, and I do take a hit from that Colombo, and immediately I decide to smoke up, because yeah, it's getting a little bit tricky here, to be honest. So yeah, time to lead. No, that Colombo seems to be going in a straight line. I'm not going to shoot all my torpedoes. I'm going to wait until he comes out of his smoke screen to see if he's still going in the same direction, and I will follow it up. So we do have torpedoes coming our way. I also do have the maneuverability to escape, and look at what's going to happen. I dodged that torpedo and the game decides otherwise. It's about time that Wargaming decides to fix those fucking bugs, because it's incredibly annoying. The following torpedoes comes even closer to me, and yeah, this one does not hit for whatever reason. So with a torpedo speed of a little bit above 60, you kind of have to lead your shots a bit, and that's a target I can safely engage. Shimakaze is already been damaged, his guns are not at the front, they're at the back, so I can actually engage fairly safely. But he decides to smoke up, and immediately I decide to run away. So I've shown you how you have to start a game with that thing. It's not really meant to be a flanker, at least not in that kind of super open maps. With big distances, you kind of have to follow the big brother strategy and make sure that you have someone backing you up, like a cruiser or an Italian battleship, which is a very good strategy, and we do put another torpedo on that Colombo. But yeah, I'm going to avoid that general direction, because that Shimakaze there can actually re-spot me again, and I will be in front of that battleship. It's not something I like. I noticed something interesting. There is a DD which is close to my base and one of my battleships, and there is also a battleship that's actually following it, kind of. So this is where I'm going to go, because I cannot really make it to the enemy base. Yeah, especially now the Black Shima has been deleted. It would be 1 DD and 2 battleships versus me, and by the time I get there, that would not be very wise. So you kind of have to pick your battles with that thing, and that battleship there, it's almost certainly going for the cap for my base, so it's going to travel in a very predictable way, and it's an ideal candidate to be hitting those 16 torpedoes. So yeah, remember, you do have a range of 10 kilometers, but given the relatively poor speed, you want to get as close as you can, and this is why I do not engage right away with my torpedoes. It's a Republic, so it's also pretty fast, so I'm going to get as close as I can. I see that the enemy DD has popped up its smoke, so it's probably going to remain in place. and that's going to give me a really nice shooting window into that Republic. So without further ado, let's get into... oh fuck.
Locked on.
So there you go, that's exactly the kind of surprises that you do not want to get with that thing. Luckily for me, I still have one smoke charge, and that gearing does not, is just used ace, so I'm going to dodge his torpedoes and use my 8 guns to finish it. At that range, absolutely fine. By the way, the guns on that thing, they're actually pretty decent. And yeah, that Republic is more certainly going for it. So yeah, that's an ideal target for me. 16 torpedoes, and I immediately break the engagement. And I'm going to go see what we can do in the other direction, because we are most certainly losing that battle unless I manage to pull something. Only 1 minute left, it's going to be super complicated. And so that's the Yamato, that's the Colombo, and fuck, I get detected by the gearing, and I do not have. So there you go, that's the Republic going, bye bye. I have to breeze engage, and I hope that Colombo will not be it. So yeah. This is where the stupid torpedo that I took in the beginning really comes back to bite me, yeah? You see what happens, but I would have been deleted anyway. So I would have been deleted because I had absolutely no answer to that full health gearing. So there you go, it is what it is. So the Summers, the best torpedo DPM in the game, essentially a Shimakaze that drops a little bit of torpedo burst damage for a much better, an improved gun performance and 3 smoke charges. Still not a gunboat, certainly far away from that. Still a very good DD, an incredible amount of damage potential. Yeah, I mean, by far the best torpedo DPM in the game. It's not even a contest. So yeah, a pretty decent pick for the shipyard if you're looking for a premium destroyer. Then look no further, this is a very interesting one at tier 10. And I hope I was able to give you a good idea of how it plays, what are its strengths and weaknesses, so hope you can make an informed buying decision. In the meantime, stay safe, take care, that was DFA signing out, bye bye!